Did you put it on solid though?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Projects required for a building permit.
Well, it's a big definition because if you go to the specifically requirement, every work above 2,500 word on price.
Let me say this, and the reason we're going to all of these is because we want you to consider all these when you're thinking on pulling the permit yourself. So it might be the case that in an easier county, it makes sense to you to save some cash. It might be the case that in like a really complicated county.
Problem is, how willing are you to trade to the time in order to save money?
Exactly.
And actually, we don't do it. We don't go to pull permits. Right now we have a team of people that does that. But by definition, 2,500 or above, you must pull a permit. Doesn't matter what kind of work.
And that's so vague, right? That's so weird because like people can get a quote with us for 2,500 and a quote with somebody else for 10K. So for the same work, depending on the different prices. So how you know?
And it's so vague because most of the people say, well, if it's not a structural things involved, you don't do it. But if you have any trade involved, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, you must do it. We do the permitting regardless because someone else needs to check the work that we do. And I prefer to do it that way for different reasons. First of all, you are providing a peace of mind.
Is the live on?
For people, which is the big slogan on MOG, provide a peace of mind experience. We're going to provide 1-year warranty, actually back it up for this inspection process. We're going to do the certificate of occupancy for every project that we do. And for legal purposes, because sometimes things don't go the way that we want it, and you have another set of eyes checking out the work that you did. And it's when you go to the finish line and you have sign-off inspection that help you out to support in paper that you did the work in the way that it's supposed to be.
Yep. And let's talk about the main differences between the counties surrounding us. Tell me one difference that you don't see, for example, that they ask that is a requirement on the city of Atlanta, but it's not a requirement on Cherokee County, for example.
The difference is how they enforce it. On the city, a lot of construction is going on.
Is it the same code?
It is, and applies. Actually, some of the codes are actually international codes.
Yep.
Some of them, by the state, some of them nationwide, some of them international one. It's the same code, it's the same rules. The difference is how enforce the city, the county.
But they do have some specifications by city, right, code-wise.
Not really. It's overall just one streamline because applies to the entire state most likely. Actually, the license here applies to the state of Tennessee and actually applies the same rules.
Okay.
It's
so state-wise.
State-wise.
Okay.
And we share with Tennessee about the same regulation, on construction.
So it will vary based on how the city sees it. It's an inspection.
Yeah, and how enforce them, because most of the cities on the suburbs, most of the things are not enforced unless a neighbor call or something like that happens. In the city, inside the perimeter, actually they enforce really bad. The inspectors are all day long around trying to just see who is doing what. And I believe that's the main difference. The code is the same, but how they enforce that is different.
Now, some examples of projects that you would need a permit: adding or removing walls, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Changing the use of a room, also guaranteed. Changing the piping of the house, what you just said, the trades. Re-roof the house. Demolish a portion of the house. Big portion, right? And again, in that case, they will consider the 2,500 rule, which is weird for me, but anyway.
Yeah.
Some examples of projects you wouldn't need a permit. Repainting the house. You don't need a permit for that.
If it's about 2,500, you should, but it's not a must.
Yeah, exactly. No,
I remember one difference, by the way, now that you mentioned. In the city of Atlanta, in order to put a fence up, a privacy fence, you require a permit.
Because it's kind of structured because you have the concrete floors.
But in the suburbs, actually, it's not required if it's not about 6 feet. That's one of the exceptions.
That's so weird.
It is.
Same thing, with
trying to avoid people get crazy and just, nail the fence to the house. It happens. It happened to us one time.
Really?
Yeah, the guy just fenced in and the nail was inside the brick on our house. It was a big problem a couple years ago.
Right?
Well, actually, they encroached on the house and they attached to my house. And it was a big problem, legally talking. because it's. But that things happen.
Lack of common sense for sure.
Well, we're trying to fix the problem, and we never did. At the end, these guys sold the property, and we figured it out with the new owner. Crazy stuff.
Crazy. Kitchen cabinets, and again, consider that rule, but a lot of people do it without pulling and don't get it.
Depending, if they're moving plumbing, they more get into the idea, but it's just cabinets, it's just cosmetic things.
Appliances, same thing, replacing appliances, repaving the driveway. This one I would say depends on what type of repaving they're doing, right? Because if it's something that is really thick, I would say it's kind of risky to get the inspector to show up there. And
the thing is, you say, well, what they're going to inspect in a driveway? They're going to see the framing on the ground, which is a 1x4.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of things that is really inconsistent. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
But
we've seen cases like that, right? So.
Oh yes, we have seen a lot.
That's what we need to realize. I always tell people, you're not dealing with codes, you're dealing with human beings.
Oh, yeah, and that is an opinion.
With human beings, exactly. I can see this code and think something. You can see this code and think something.
And that's part of the problem, because sometimes happen in different locations. It's not a rule in the city of Atlanta, but when one inspector comes, they're looking for something, and they come after another one and looking for something else on the same inspection. Actually, we heard different stories, and we happened to us several times that the third inspector found something else. And everybody's asking different things when you actually thinking that it's going to be just one criteria in order to apply to that.
That's a good point, because a good recommendation is when you have a first inspection with the inspector A and he gets to you with a positive outcome, make him, write something, a report or something.
The thing is, they put it on the system, but the second inspector come and check something else and say, okay, if the other guy misses it, I'm going to enforce it. And that can occur as many times as someone come to pass an inspection. That's why one of the biggest reasons that we always have someone on site waiting for these inspectors is exactly that, to trying to explain or to do a briefing about what we had and what we did. Everything in writing most of the time, but that's the difference. Sometimes pass or fail.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so now third point: who arranges for a permit?
Well, it's a regulation in the state of Georgia. Any homeowner can pull any kind of permit if they're going to do the work themselves. If they're going to do it through a contractor, they need to provide the paperwork for the contractor, and the contractor obviously can pull the permit. Who does that? Depending on the homeowner. Sometimes people trying to just save some money and do it themselves. Sometimes they're trying to save some money, they're trying to do it themselves, and they hire us back in order to do it, or we do it.
Yeah, I don't like homeowners pulling the permit themselves.
Time consuming.
And it's under their name, and they don't realize that.
Well,
that's actually a point that we're going to be.
And it's funny because
today.
Let's say if you go to Cherokee County and say I want to pull my own permit, and they don't ask much about it, and you just go and do it. In Cobb County, if you do that, they're going to ask you who is going to do the work, and this is the funny part. If you say in Cobb County that you're going to pull your own permit, they're going to ask you who is going to do the work, and if you're not going to do it yourself by yourself, they don't allow you to pull the permit.
Yeah.
Let's say that my brother is coming, or whoever, a cousin, or friends, or whatever. They say no. In that case, you need to pull a permit from a contractor, and that's kind of interesting. These kind of stories happen.
That's a good way to put it.
But keep in mind, though, when you pull your own permit, most of the cities, they're going to make you sign an affidavit saying that you're going to live on the house at least 1 year after the final inspection. Most of the people don't know that, or they sign without reading. But it's really important, because if something happened in this period of time and you're not living there for any reason, you're liable for whatever happens inside the house. And most of the people are not aware of it. That's a really important
Yeah, it's
note.
a matter of mindset. It's always about mindset. Do you want to save, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 and do it yourself, or do you value your time more and you want to pay the price to get it done fast, to get the things going? It's really a matter
Cherokee
of mindset.
and Paulding, Cobb, I got it. Maybe spend an hour.
Yeah.
But in different cities like Doraville, Douglasville, Roswell, city of Atlanta, actually we need to charge more to do that, because it takes time. We're talking about months, weeks.
Sometimes meetings, sometimes
going 3 or 4 times. Historical district, they play a different rules. Actually, in most of the historical district, you need to go to the historical group or committee that regulates that, and have their approval first about the work that you're going to do in order to go and pull the permit out.
Right.
That's
right.
really important as well to say.
Okay, now point number 4. What if I skip getting a permit?
It's pretty sweet. Like everything else, I mean, it's consequences on it. They can stop the work that you're doing.
For sure.
They're going to stop the work and fine you. They're going to stop the work and you're going to be taken to court, depending on the violation. For instance, everything related to trees is actually really bad. Everything related to structural things is not good.
And that's counterintuitive. You know, trees, people don't think on that. They think, oh no, it's just a tree.
Yeah, and it's a big deal. Inside
Yeah.
the perimeter of the city is really a big deal, and it's expensive. Lead paint on the walls, houses built before 1979. The fines are really, really big for the EPA. I mean, you don't risk. Someone called the city, someone stopped by, someone get hurt. If you don't pull a permit, you're going to have consequences. And at the same time, we always say to the homeowners, it's a peace of mind for you. Someone else is going to check what we do. We don't need to take a word on it. And that protects everybody involved on the transaction.
Yeah.
Don't skip the permit. We recommend that, highly recommend.
I mean, again, my matter of mindset. You need to be someone that is willing to do it the right way, or don't.
And the other thing, most of the investors that we know that they want to pull the permit as a homeowner, keep in mind that during the period of 1 year, you're going to be responsible if you're not living in the house and something goes wrong. That's really important to know.
And pulling your permit after getting the job done is actually way more expensive from the city.
And they make it really hard.
They make it hard.
Man, I can tell you. And the other thing is, most of the people pull the permit and don't go through the inspection process.
Which is...
As soon as you pull a permit to do a work, you have like a temporary occupancy in this property in which you need to sign off to have the certificate, the new one, certificate of occupancy. Technically, if you don't go to the inspection, you can occupy the place. And most of the people not aware of it. They say, well, at least the permit is pulled. And some things like electrical permits, in order to connect the power on, they need to, require the inspection. But most of the rest of the inspection, no one is going to ask until something happens. And that's it.
That's an important point too, because when you're doing a full rehab, for example, or even major renovations, it's not only one overall permit. You have permit for electrical, permit for plumbing, that require different documents to be pulled.
Yeah, actually it's like 3 or 4 different ones, but everything is going to be linked to the main one, the building permit. But you need to have for different trades, different permits. And that's really, really important.
Yes. Now, before we move into the most important point, just wanted to invite you all to head to our website right now and subscribe to our newsletter. We're giving a welcome gift to everybody that subscribed to our VIP list, as long as special offers, special items for the VIP list, as we call it. The website is mogimprovementservices.com. I think you can find it over the description of this post on Facebook and YouTube, whenever you're watching it. I have some people in other places here. But again, it's mogimprovementservices.com. If it's your first time visiting the website, a welcome mat will come down and offer you a little bribe in exchange of your email address, so we can nurture a relationship with you. Okay, so head over mogimprovementservices.com right now and make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, because it's a lot of great content.
Great content. We're here for everybody, for questions, for orientation. We have a team of people behind us, and that actually is going to support you just to build a relationship with us. You don't need to buy anything from us. Basically, we're here to provide value to everybody.
To the marketplace, to society in general, and then we know that good things come out of that.
Always come. I was talking today, actually, I was talking with Will. We received a phone call today. It's a customer of mine from 2014. And when they call and the way that they express the company, impression still after 4 years, it made my day today. Great guy. I met this guy once because he lives in Arizona. He has some rental properties in here. And we have done at least 5 or 6 projects during the years. That's an amazing customer.
And he called for another one, and that's what we want. We want to build a relationship. Of course, for us as a company that is in the marketplace for profit is a good idea because we're doing more projects per customer. But the only way we can make it happen is by being honest, transparent, and making the right thing. It's pretty simple.
And we've been in touch with everybody. We never lose a relationship because maybe you don't need us today, maybe tomorrow you're going to need us, and we're going to be here anyways. The idea is just to provide value and trying to help you or someone that you know, or trying to provide something different than everybody else, just trying to make maybe a living, collect money, one-time shot, and move on.
Yeah, that's not what we're here for, man. We're here for the long term.
Yeah,
anyway, the final point. If you pull a construction permit, you are the contractor, not us.
Exactly. You're going to be the person responsible for it, and to schedule inspections, to pass, to have the certificate of occupancy. Basically, the actual contractor becomes a facilitator.
Yeah.
And you become the general contractor of the project. You're responsible for it, and you're responsible to pass inspections, to go through the process and have the sign off from the city, county, whatever applies.
You're legally required to supervise the work?
Yes.
You are. It's against the law to not do it, and it's against the law to actually compensate someone to do it for you. Did you know that?
Well, that's why in Cobb County, even if you bring some friends and get a beer or whatever, they're not going to pull the permit for you.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You need to kill yourself to do it. Can you imagine to do a screen porch by yourself,
Yeah.
killing yourself in there just to have a permit?
and also any accidents that happen during the
You're
project.
responsible. That's really important.
And you probably don't have workers' comp insurance, so it's also expensive.
And that's the main thing. That's why we require to be the contractor. We require to pull the permit under the company's name because we have insurance, we have workers' comp, liability, the cars, the company vehicles are covered.
Let me ask you this: what's the average settlement for a workers' comp case in case of accidents? Because we had through the years, it's normal.
We have one in 2013, I believe, and it was around 15,000.
And that's low.
We have another one, I believe it was in 2014, end of 2014, and it was around 18,000.
Also low.
Plus all the process, and it's not a fun.
Yeah.
Even just we just received a letter that was basically the participation that we have on the process. But it's scary because you start receiving all this letter, all these amounts, and you need to to have the court dates and all that. When you have insurance, you receive the letter and just follow what's going on. But after the settlement is done, you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the premium for the company is going to increase.
So it's at least this 2017.
And I'm talking minor stuff.
Exactly.
Someone fail.
18,000 is a minor accident. It's minor.
Yeah.
Like it's minor.
What can happen if someone actually get really hurt?
Yeah.
Or someone after an accident is declared disabled. That's most of the things that most of the people don't think about it.
And you're reliable.
Exactly.
You need to pay because you probably don't have workers' comp because you're not a renovation company. So it wouldn't make sense for an individual homeowner or investors that have workers' comp.
And that's why one of the biggest reasons to have the contractor to actually pull the permit, because the person liable, the contractor should or must have workers' comp insurance.
Yep. You're also responsible for shoddy workmanship that does not meet the building codes.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, something, even though you go to the inspection part of it, sometimes things happen.
And you get fined, right?
Yes.
So
and if you don't inspect, actually even worse. If you don't pull the permit and something happen after, even worse as well.
It's triple the original price.
And actually scale proportional a little bit more than that, depending on the fault. As I said, maybe trees are more expensive than maybe is framing, but it's consequences for sure.
The problem with trees is that they need to go there and analyze, how's the tree's health and all that stuff. So they want you to go through the process that it can take a little while. And if you don't do it, I don't know.
If you don't do it, you remove the tree already. Yeah. That's a big problem to have. We usually stay away from trees.
Now the worst thing, in my personal opinion, you have problems selling the property, right?
In general, it causes a lot of problems that you don't need to have in your plate.
Because let me tell you this, us as a experienced home renovation company, doing hundreds and hundreds of projects a year, we still have problems with code sometimes. It's part of the game. Now, yourself as an investor, individual investor or homeowner, guaranteed you have code problems to pass inspection.
It's part of the
meaning
construction
that you get it if you're trying to sell the property, you get in the way of selling the property, guaranteed.
And other thing that happen, and when you're going to sell your house, the home inspector, and actually you need to disclose if you have modified anyhow, if you have done any renovation on the house, and they're going to ask you if you pull permits to it. And as a seller, you must disclaim exactly what you know, because some legal paperwork implication that you have if you lie. And that's I mean, I believe it's keeping the building part of it is kind of stupid, because it's going to cause a problem in some point anyhow. The process is a little bit longer. You need to deal with different people, like just the contractor, but at the same time it's a peace of mind, and everybody at the end sign off. We can move on. Customer can move on.
Again, it's so much better to do it the right way, to do it the fast way, because money you can always get back. Time you never get back. So
yeah, that's true.
That's what people don't realize. Some people love to waste their own times, and you need to value your time more, because it's a problem that you can easily fix with 1,000, 2,000 instead of setting yourself for a problem that is 10 times.
And sometimes it doesn't worth it, because if you're going to kill yourself going 7 times to the city of Roswell, for instance, for $1,000, I will pay all day long, because every trip, 7 trips in 2 weeks.
7 trips in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you want to go back in Roswell, guarantee.
Every other day you're there.
Last time I was there like 8 times to do a small deck. It was insane.
That's why we don't do the permits ourselves anymore.
Yeah, because it doesn't work. And then actually we transfer the cost to the customer, because at the end they have the option to do it themselves, and we're not going to deal directly with it. We subcontract that out in order to have people that know what they're doing, in order to do it in a more effective way.
Which actually faster than we would.
Oh yeah,
because that's the only thing that they do.
Plus time.
Yeah.
We prefer to having time to do something better than just go
be taking
and do
care of the
paperwork.
customers instead of be doing paperwork. Exactly. Okay, I think that was it. Anything else you would like to add?
Just keep in mind, some people say time is money. I believe time is everything, and trade.
Time is not money. Time is more valuable than money. That's
it's everything. It's everything that you have, and we trying to work really hard in that mindset, trying to be really effective, and trying to to don't trade this time for things that doesn't worth it. Sometimes you spend the time and worth it, or maybe you put a price on it. It's okay as well. I just want to just point it out.
Exactly. Marcelo, anything you'd like to add? You've been so quiet.
Usually quiet.
Well, yeah.
He's just taking care of all the technical.
Keep it on, don't give up.
But doing good. Actually, getting really better. Smooth process. I like that. Better.
Yeah,
awesome.
Can't wait to get to the new headquarters, man. It'll be amazing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, I hope this show found you well. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like our Facebook page. You turn the notifications on for both of those, so you can receive YouTube and Facebook. They're like making it harder to reach your own followers. They want you to pay for that. We have no problem with that, but still some people don't receive the notification, even with us paying them to make you receive it. So make sure you turn the notification on. Both are the little bells, right? On both places, YouTube and Facebook. And also comment below which of these points made the most sense to you, which of these points you like the better. And also,
tag someone.
Yeah, tag someone, a friend that needs to see this, someone that is thinking on, getting a permit, starting a new project, and they don't know if they want to do it themselves or they want to do it with the renovation company, because this will definitely clarify that to them, right?
Absolutely, and we have the program on Monday at noon.
Yes,
Monday and
next
Thursday.
Monday we have the Art of the Rehab show at 12 p.m. Then Thursday again we have the home renovation made simple. Make sure you tune in. If you have any questions, call the office. What's the office number?
678-622-8681, and you can call for a question for anything, and we can help you out.
Come over to grab some coffee. We have free coffee here, tea.
Oh yeah, we have really nice installations in here to come over. Just swing by to say hi.
All right, guys, thank you so much again. Really special to me to be with you. And Victor, I see you next Monday.
See you guys. Take care.
Take care.